everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are once again visiting the realm of Middle-earth. Yes, we are painting Gandalf the White and Peregrin Took. In here we have the three models, but it's technically four because Pippin is in fact separate, so we can just pop him off the horse for now, well, the horse being Shadowfax. So here's the plan, right? So we've got some admin to go through. It's all been primed in White Scar, but what we're going to do is we're going to focus on Gandalf the White first, and we're just going to do him and him at the same time. And we're mostly going to focus on him, so that we've got the whole of Shadowfax and Gandalf done, plus the Gandalf on foot. And then, once that's all done, we will then slide Pippin onto the horse, and then paint Pippin at the same time. That's the plan, at least, anyway. So, we're going to pop the other two to one side for now. Get them out of the way. There we go. And, well, as already mentioned, Gandalf has been primed in White Scar. And the colour we're going to be using first is a roughly 4 parts Soulblight Grey to 1 part Lahmian Medium mix. And we're going to be applying this over top of all of Shadowfax's skin. And, well, fur and flesh, basically. So we're going to be avoiding the tail. And we're going to be avoiding the mane as well. But otherwise, I'm just going to apply this all over. And then once that's all done, we shall come back. So with that Soulblight Grey all applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Seraphim Sepia. And we're going to apply this over top of all of Shadowfax's hair. It might be a little bit strong, but once we highlight it later, it'll be nice and bright like the rest of him. With that Seraphim Sepia all applied, we're then going to take a little bit of Nuln Oil, not too much here, and we're just going to apply this over the top of Shadowfax's nose. Just like this. And then we're going to wash the brush. Touch off the water, and then we're just going to soften that transition over the top of his head. Like that. So it should be a very subtle colouring going on there. So with that all done, we're then going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Black Templar and Lahmian Medium. We're going to apply this over top of Shadowfax's hooves, but what we're also going to do is we're going to do an even smaller blend on the nose. Do that like that, and then on the nose apply just a little bit of this just like that. Then wash the brush, touch off the water, and give it a bit of a blend, like so. And so with that all done, we're now going to take a tiny amount of Black Legion and we're going to apply this over top of Shadowfax's eyeballs. So with that all done, Shadowfax is now what I would call a Warhipster battle ready. And it actually makes sense, I think, to my mind, to do this now, is to relayer and highlight Shadowfax because it breaks up doing all of the white across Gandalf as well. So that's what we're going to do. So the next colour that we're going to use is some thinned down Corax White. We're going to use this to relayer and brighten all of Shadowfax's flesh and the tail and mane. Just avoiding where our shades have really settled in those recesses. So with that Corax White relayer all applied, all the way around, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down white scar. I'm going to use this to add some highlights, again, to all of the flesh and all of the hair. I'm just going to start here on this part of the mane. Just like that sort of thing for the hair. But of course, for the horse's flesh itself, just want to be very careful here and just pick out the musculature of Shadowfax. So with that all done, we're now going to move on from Shadowfax, because we'll do the eyes and stuff a little bit later on. So, the colour we're going to use next is some Targor Rageshade. And we're going to apply this over top of Gandalf's boots. And we're also going to apply this over top of the staff. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take a roughly 4 parts Seraphim Sepia to 1 part Lahmian Medium mix. And we're going to apply this over top of the kind of slightly blonder parts of Gandalf's robe. So this is going to be his kind of over cloaks, stuff like that. So it's this little section just here. Like that. And on the other side, it's a slightly shallower fold just in there, like so. However, this will include all of this cloak. We're going to take some Agrax Earthshade and apply this over the top of the Targor Rageshade on the boots. And so with that all done, we then take some Apothecary White And we're going to apply this over top of the rest of Gandalf's clothes. And so with that all done, we then are going to take some Nuln Oil. I'm going to apply this over top of his hair and beard. And with that all done, just whilst we're waiting for it to dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Black Legion. And we're going to apply this over the top of the scabbard, the belts, and the grip of Glamdring. So with that Black Legion all applied, we're now going to take some Guilliman Flesh. And we're going to apply this over top of Gandalf's face and hands. And so with that all done, we are now going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors. We're going to apply this over top of, well, all of his remaining details. It's going to be the scabbard's decoration, the hilt, crossguard, and blade of Glamdring, and the brooch at his neck. And with that Iron Warriors all applied, we're now going to shade it using some Nuln Oil. And so with that Nuln Oil all applied, Gandalf the White is now what I would call a Warhipster battle ready, and he's looking pretty good. However, we're of course not going to leave him there. No, we're going to take him to the next level, and we're going to do this by adding some layers and some highlights. Now, the first of these is going to be the biggest one, because we're going to be essentially relayering this over, well, pretty much all of the model. And it's going to be some thinned down Corax White. And we're going to be using this to relayer all of his robes, his staff, and his hair and beard. But of course we're going to be avoiding any of the recesses, where all our shades have settled quite nicely. And for his boots, we're going to highlight them with the Corax White rather than relayer them. I'm going to do that, for example, on the staff, and then on all of his clothes. And with that Corax White all applied, what we're now going to do is going to take some thinned down white scar. I'm going to use this to just add some little highlights to all of our white details. Just in the sharpest corners and edges like this sort of thing. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Dawnstone. I'm going to use this to highlight the black details. So with that all done, we're then going to take a tiny amount of Black Legion. We're going to apply this over the top of Gandalf's eyeballs. So with that all done, we're then going to take a teensy tiny little dot of Screaming Skull, and we're going to apply this in the back, well, in the corners of all of the eyes, but we're going to include the back corners of Shadowfax's eyes as well. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Flayed One Flesh. I'm going to use this to highlight Gandalf's skin. And so with that all done, to finish off the Gandalf part, we're going to take some thinned down Ironbreaker. Use this to highlight all the silver. So with that all done, Gandalf the White and Shadowfax are now finished, so it's time to move on to Pippin, Guard of the Citadel. And, well, of course, we have two versions of Pippin here. We have the one on foot, and we have this one here, which goes on the horse. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to initially have Pippin on foot, not on foot, on horse, just on my finger. You might have a better way of mounting him, but this is just because we basically going to do the cloak first, and this way we won't accidentally get some paint on Gandalf. So the colour we're going to be using first is we're going to start with some Space Wolves Grey, and we're going to apply this over the top of Pippin's cloak. So with that all done, we're then going to take a roughly 2 parts Black Templar to 1 part Lahmian Medium mix. I'm going to apply this over top. So with that all done, you can now pop this version of Pippin on the horse, should you want to at this point, or you could continue with the finger method. But what we're going to do next is we're going to take our foot version of Pippin, just because he's a little bit easier to see now. And the colour we're going to be using next, it helps if you open it first, is going to be some Black Legion. And we're going to be applying this over, well, pretty much the rest of Pippin. So this is going to be all of his clothes and his kind of, well, his trousers and his gauntlets and gloves, braces and stuff like that. So we're going to take that Black Legion and start applying this. So with that Black Legion applied, we're then going to take some Cygor Brown. And we're going to apply this over top of Pippin's leather belts and stuff. And then next up we're going to take some Guilliman Flesh and we're going to apply this over top of his feet and face. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Wyldwood and we're going to apply this over top of Pippin's hair on his head and his feet. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors and we're going to apply this over top of almost all of Pippin's remaining details. There is a couple of little gold pieces here and there, like the crossguard of the blade, for example. He also has some gold inlaid into his braces on his arms. So with that all done, we then take some thinned down Retributor Armour and we apply this over top of, well, those little gold details. So this is going to be the belt buckle, the crossguard and the pommel of the sword, and we also have that gold detailing on his braces as well. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Nuln Oil. We're going to apply this over top of Pippin's black clothes, the silver and the gold. So with that all done, our Pippins are now at what I would call a Warhipster battle ready. So it's time to take them to the next level. I'm going to do this by adding some highlights now. First of these is going to be some thinned down Dawnstone. I'm going to use this to highlight Pippin's black clothes and leather. So with that Dawnstone all applied, we then take some thinned down Administratum Grey, and we're going to use this to add some little spot highlights to that black, and just like the sharpest little corners and stuff. But the other thing that we're going to do with the Administratum Grey is we're going to use this to highlight the cloaks. So with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Karak Stone. I'm going to use this to add just some little highlights to his hair, on his head and on his feet. With that all done, we then take some thinned down Flayed One Flesh. We're going to use this to highlight Pippin's skin. And with that all done, we'll then take a tiny, tiny amount of Black Legion. I'm going to use this over the top of the eyeballs. And with that Black Legion all applied, we then take the tiniest little dot of Screaming Skull. And we apply this in the corners of the eyeballs. So with that all done, we then take some thinned down Ironbreaker. I'm going to use this to highlight all the silver. So with that all done, we don't actually need to highlight the gold because we want it to be nice and weathered. So the last thing to do to finish off Pippin is to take some Ork Flesh. I'm going to apply this over the top of the brooch. Like that. This took far too long for me to finally finish and to actually edit as well, but Gandalf the White is finally here. I really, really love the final result of this model. I think it just looks perfect to my eye. I'm really, really, really proud of this one, and I hope you find this one useful for painting your own Gandalfs the White. We've also done Gandalf the Grey and the Fellowship, but here is the White. He's just, yeah, I'm lost for words. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.